Hi, I'm Hilary L. Hahn from A Day in the Life Lifestyle blog, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create beautiful marbled prints on paper. Now, this is a project that I've been working on for an upcoming workshop that I will be teaching in West Hollywood this weekend, and we're going to be marbling on textiles and pulling large-scale prints on paper. Now, marbling is one of my favorite ways to make a beautiful custom piece of gift wrap or art for your home. I have a few smaller pieces that I've been working on, just testing and practicing with different inks and different colors. I find that marbling works really well on a sulfite construction paper or a really absorbent lightweight paper. Although I have tested it on many different kinds of paper. You can read more about some of my marbling tests on my blog, HilaryLHahn.com, if you search word marbling. This is a nice large-scale print that I pulled, and then we're going to go a little bit bigger with this print so that it, it got a little wet, but it'll dry out, so that it can be used as a gift wrap. So today, the first thing that you want to do before you start marbling is you want to gather up all of your materials. I've tried two different kits. This is one of my favorite. It's a Suminagashi kit, which is the Japanese word for marbling. So it's a water-based marbling ink set, and I found it online at Amazon. It's also at our local art store, which is Blick. So I use this kit. It comes with 6 different inks. And for today, because the consistency of the ink is so important, we're going to just stick with this kit. And then if we want to add any metallics, I have some metallic ink that we can add later to the paper that will just dry like an acrylic on the paper. So I'm going to be working with this kit, and I have also, some people prefer to drop the inks onto the surface of the water, onto the marbling tray with pipettes. So I have a few pipettes. I have some paintbrushes which can be used to drop the ink as well. So I can show you how to use the different tools when marbling today. There was one thing I looked really hard for was my marbling tray. It's a large tray. It's 18 by 24 inches, so it can pull that large paper size, and it's about 1 inch deep. For marbling, it's recommended to use a tray at least 1 inch deep. So I filled it pretty full with the water, and I'm doing my best not to move the table so that the inks kind of, move naturally when I get started. Once you have all your materials gathered, then you're ready to get started. Now, something that comes with the kit are these little float papers. And because you really want the ink to float on the surface of the water, they ask you to take, and these are like little circles that are kind of glossy on one side. You take the float paper and you're going to drop it into the water, and you let it float back up to the surface. This is kind of like your target where you're going to place the ink when you begin to marble. So I'm only going to use 1 float paper, but I'm going to keep a few to the side in case I feel like I want to add more as I'm designing. Now we're ready to design. So the colors that I wanted to pull my first print, and sometimes I like them when they're just really simple and kind of beautiful, are black, blue, and green. And we might add red. I haven't decided yet. So now if you take a minute, just look at the surface of the water and you'll see that I'm dropping. I'm going to start with black. I'm dropping the ink, and you can see it's floating right on the surface. So this kit is pretty much engineered so that the inks float. They're lighter weight than the water, and you can just see a nice spread right there. Now I like doing really bold kind of modern designs with my inks, so I do concentric circles a lot. And I try to form rings. The black is always recommended that you use that first because it's so strong and it provides a lot of contrast for the other inks. You can really see the colors are spreading, and I'm kind of just working back and forth with 2 colors currently. I am getting a lot of movement from that float paper, but I don't mind. It's kind of fun, and it's kind of surprising to see what happens as you design. Since I am going to pull a large paper, I do want to really layer up the inks, and the more I layer them, the thinner the rings become, and it kind of gives that tree slice or like a natural stone, like a look of like a agate or crystal inside, which is kind of cool. So marbling is something that I think you can do. All ages find it fun. I think it's a fun afternoon project for kids, and I also think that it can be more sophisticated. The designs can be developed a little bit further with adults if you really kind of practice the techniques. Now this ink is, it looks great on paper, but it also can be set on fabric. So we're going to try setting it on fabric later after we pull our paper prints, and I will update you on how it looks on fabric. I'm really liking the black. I think I want to go in with just a little more green. And I want to show you how you can apply the red ink So if you want to place an ink, you can do that as well on the surface of the water. You drop it just from the end of your paintbrush, and you actually try not to break the surface of the water. So you have to be really light and really gentle about it. You can even get 2 brushes going at a time. You can kind of alternate like red and green. You just want to make sure there's enough ink on your brush that it really flows off like a little droplet onto the surface of water. So you should be able to see it flow off the end of your brush. And this part kind of takes some practice. And I think that this is better done with adults and maybe older students. I'm even going to have a 3rd brush in case I want to put some blue in. Now I like that these are making like slightly smaller shapes, so they're not as big. You can kind of add, tap, tap, add as much as you want. And then once you know what you want your last color to be, and I think I'm going to end with green because it mixes so well with red and all of these colors, blue. I'm going to drop that last little bit. And I do see that some of them have sunk down. That's okay. You know, you don't have to change the water tray right away. Another piece of advice that I want to give is once you get a lot of inks on your surface, you may notice that your second print actually pulls better than the first print. So that can be kind of surprising. But I'm going to go ahead and just, I don't really want to move the water too much because I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So I think I'm going to print without moving it, and then I'll maybe move the water and pull a second print. So I have my big sheet of white sulfite drawing paper ready to go. And I'm going to line it up with the edge of the tray. I'm going to hold it very flatly, and you just want it to kind of float. So you just place it very gently. You want it to just kind of float right on the surface of the water. I think this is going to make a beautiful large-scale art print or a piece of gift wrap. I'm not going to decide until the end what I'm going to do with it. And then actually, once it's completely touched the surface, which I know that it has, I can see that, I just want to pull up on the 2 edges. And I kind of let it kind of drip off horizontally for just a minute because I don't want the inks running. And then I like to kind of just give a quick flip, and I'm going to quickly just kind of flip my print so that you can see it. And actually the inks didn't run too bad on this one. We're going to let it dry, and I'll show you the finished piece.